President-elect Trump has pledged to repeal and replace Obamacare, but that's a lot easier said than done. What should we do? Well, I think we should turn to Michael Cannon. He's Cato Institute's Director of Health Policy Studies. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thanks for having me, Kennedy.
So, President-elect Trump has talked about keeping that pre-existing condition caveat in the ACA. Can you possibly do that and not have the individual mandate? And what does it do to the health insurance market?
Well, look, the whole point of repealing Obamacare is making coverage so we can enact real reforms and make coverage more secure for people with expensive medical conditions. That's the whole ball game right here. The problem is Obamacare is not doing that. Those provisions that President-elect Trump says he wants to keep, that supposedly ban discrimination against people with pre-existing conditions, don't end discrimination against people with pre-existing conditions. Instead, they are causing a race to the bottom where the coverage that's available for these people continuously degrades year after year. There's a coalition of patient groups that says that this ongoing discrimination against people with pre-existing conditions completely undermines the promise of the ACA. This is not happening in spite of Obamacare. It's happening because of Obamacare. That's why we need to get rid of all of Obamacare, including these supposedly popular provisions, supposedly banning discrimination against patients with pre-existing conditions.
Yeah, and that's what Donald Trump says he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to discriminate against those people. But if you just sort of weed out the bad parts of the ACA that you don't like, you're left with the status quo. That's what Hillary Clinton wanted. You could argue that it was the impending failure of Obamacare that got Donald Trump elected in the first place. Let's say you do what you just suggested. Let's say you scrap the whole thing. What do you do for the 20 million people that have insurance now because of Obamacare? And how can you create a system in a short amount of time that fixes the ailing healthcare market?
Well, the first thing you do is you stop the bleeding. Obamacare and other government failures are exacerbating this problem of pre-existing conditions. So what you want to do is you want to put in place reforms that allow people to have secure access to care when they get sick. And where that was happening was in the individual market that Obamacare pretty much abolished.
Yeah.
If you allow people to purchase insurance without tax penalties, telling them to buy insurance from an employer or someplace else, allow them to purchase insurance directly from an insurance company, that insurance is more secure, will be more secure than Obamacare, than employer-sponsored insurance. It'll do a better job of what we want to do, which is providing access to care for the sick. Now, again, there are so many people who are victims of Obamacare and other government failures that there's going to have to be some form of transitional assistance for people who are currently in the exchanges and won't be able to afford coverage in a market where Obamacare has been repealed. For those people, we need to provide assistance, but it needs to be transitional and only transitional.
I understand the transition, but was the law designed so there wouldn't be a transition, so there was really no way of taking out major parts of the law and dismantling it, so you had to keep the entire thing or scrap it completely? Was it designed that way?
Well, people who designed this law thought they were designing healthcare nirvana, but what they were actually designing was a three-legged stool. And between the community rating price controls, what we mistakenly call the ban on discrimination against people with pre-existing conditions, and the individual mandate and the subsidies, you have the three legs of that three-legged stool. And what Donald Trump is saying is that he can knock out two of those legs, but the stool will keep standing. That's not how it works. The entire insurance market collapses,
which is why you need to get rid of that. Balance and a unicycle.
Which is why you need to get rid of all of Obamacare. For the vast majority of people in the exchanges, their premiums will fall. The health insurance will become more affordable. It'll become more secure. For the people who are the victims of Obamacare, you need some sort of transitional assistance, like a high-risk pool or giving states more flexibility with their Medicaid funds. And that solves that transitional problem, and we build a health insurance system that provides secure access to care for people.
All right, well, we'll see who's going to take care of the baby. Michael Cannon, thank you so much.